The tulip bubble is one of the strangest and most famous stories in financial history, where the price of a flower spun wildly out of control and then came crashing down. It was one of the most earliest economic bubbles in history, much before the Great Depression of 1929 or the subprime crisis of 2007-8. Let's travel back to the Netherlands in 1630s, a time when Dutch merchants were getting rich from trade. Their cities were booming with art, science, and wealth. And in the middle of all this, tulips become the star of the show. Why tulips? Tulips were not native to Europe. They were exotic flowers from the Ottoman Empire and they were beautiful. Some had wild, flame like colors caused by a virus, which made them even more rare and desirable. Tulips became a status symbol in Europe, like driving a Lamborghini or owning an expensive football team today. How did the bubble grow? At first, wealthy people just bought and planted tulips, but soon tulips became something else, a way to get rich very quick. People started trading tulip bulbs like stocks, hoping that their price would rise. Some tulip varieties were so rare they cost as much as a house. Contracts were made to buy tulips months before they even grew. This is called a futures market. And the prices? Totally bonkers. One famous tulip, the Semper Augustus, reportedly sold for more than the value of a canal side mansion in Amsterdam. But then came the crash. By early 1637, something snapped. At one auction, no one showed up to buy. Panic spread, and within weeks, tulip prices collapsed. People were stuck with worthless bulbs they had paid fortunes for. This became one of the first recorded financial bubbles in history, and one of the most ridiculous ones. Modern historians say that the bubble might not have ruined the whole Dutch economy. It mainly hit the wealthy speculators, but it did leave a cultural scar and became a warning about greed, speculation, and following the crowd. What were the consequences of the tulip bubble? When the tulip bubble burst, fortunes vanished overnight. People who had traded houses, land, or life savings for tulip contracts, they suddenly owned just tulips, and no one wanted to buy tulips anymore. The trust in markets took a hit. The idea of buying something only because its price keeps rising became a cautionary tale. It was the 1600s version of don't invest based on hype. The economy was still okay. Contrary to legend, the entire Dutch economy did not collapse. It mostly hit speculators and rich merchants like a financial slap on the wrist, not a knockout. Although the consequences did compound and spread to the rest of the economy to some extent. Lawsuits flew like petals in the wind. People tried to back out of tulip deals. The courts refused to enforce many of the contracts, treating them like gambling debts. A lasting legacy of madness was left behind. Tulip mania became shorthand for irrational financial frenzy, the blueprint for every future bubble, from dot-com bubble to crypto. Even the most beautiful things like a tulip can become dangerous when people start chasing prices instead of value. That was the lesson that the world learned from the tulip bubble. It is still famous today. Even today, the tulip mania is a term we use to describe irrational market hype like the dot-com crash, crypto frenzies, or meme stocks that rocket in price for no logical reason. It's a reminder that even the smartest societies can go a little crazy. Thank you so much for listening.